quarterback sucks, man. Thanks. Can give me a kill. It's going high and across the middle.
Well, I think we can retire that sound bite. This is Tim's New York Giants Straight Talk, powered by Like Big Blue LLC. It's official. If you've been living under a rock, if you haven't been on Twitter, if you haven't seen anything in New York Giants land, New York Giants Daniel Jones has requested his release from the organization, which has been granted. Giants agree to cut Daniel Jones. This happened about 4 or 5 hours ago. I did a live stream about it. We had a lot of fun on the live stream. And it was one of those live streams that you kind of felt the weight of the situation finally being lifted. And, I had to come on and give, I guess, my and this is actually going to be, my final thought video and my final video on Daniel Jones. This is it. This is the last one. We're done. We're done with Daniel Jones videos forever. Jones met with the Giants president, John Mara, and had many conversations, of course, what they were saying with Brian Daboll on Friday morning. The two sides have mutually agreed it would be best for him and for the rest of the team to move on, Mara said in a statement. Jones wanted to play and gave him a chance to latch on to another team before the end of the season. He still wants to play, they're basically saying. But the 2-8 New York Giants are going to be rolling with Tommy DeVito. 4 years, $160 million debacle signed in March of 2023. I've said it a million times before. The day that contract was signed, I sat there and did videos after videos and told people that this would set the team back to 2027, that this would be we'd be 5 years removed from being good once that contract was signed. And I've been on the not a Daniel Jones fan since the middle of his second season. I did a video right after the 19th season pointing out that there are so many issues with this guy, and there's so many things that Pat Shurmur or whoever was going to be the head coach at the time needed to fix, and they never got fixed. He never found his pocket awareness. He never found his pocket presence. He never found his ball placement. He never figured out how to read defenses. He never figured out how to call an audible. And we've just reached a point where it was time to let him go. Now, Jones is going to be released. He's going to get through waivers. Nobody's picking him up, and nobody's picking up that contract. And I've seen there are two groups of thought here, and technically three. There are the people that love Daniel Jones and are going to be sticking behind Daniel Jones no matter what, and that's fine. You know, they are going to have a strong opinion that Daniel Jones was never given the opportunity, that Daniel Jones was never given the chance, that the Giants never put Daniel Jones in a position where he could be that NFL quarterback that they think he is, and they're going to vehemently defend him in reference to that. You're going to have people in the other camp who are like me, who are always been saying that Daniel Jones is just not a good. He could be a great guy for all I know. I don't know because I don't know him personally. But if you took a look at his body of work, you took a look at what he did in Duke, you took a look at the way he plays, he's just not a guy that was going to excel, plain and simple. And you could see this over and over again. And then you're going to have the third group, which are the people that just think everything, that even when Daniel Jones is gone and his 22-40-41 record out the door, his 70 touchdowns long ago with 47 interceptions is out the door, that no matter what the Giants do, everything is still going to be toxic to them. That the Giants are a bad team, the Giants can't win, blah, 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 blah. And these are mainly the people in the Twitter spaces. Because the Twitter space is I'm going to be 100% honest with you, it's just a cesspool. It's just a cesspool for Giant fans that want to complain about everything. Plain and simple. They don't see the good in anything. I'm not saying there was any good in Daniel Jones. I'm not saying there's any good at being 2-8, but this team does have talent. Does it have 2-win talent? No, I think it's got more than that. But at the end of the day, there are some moves the Giants have made and some things that the Giants have done who have not. So this team isn't as bad as some of these people, especially on these spaces, predict. And I think it's great finally that maybe there's a chance, maybe there's an opportunity for all the Giant fans to come together. And I thought that until I went on a Twitter space. And I'm kind of like, no, this really isn't the space. This really isn't the example, because a lot of these people just vehemently want to be vile against the Giants no matter what they do. And I've come to this conclusion. It wasn't that they overly hated Daniel Jones. They just kind of hate the Giants. and everything to what they're doing and everything the way they've been built. And I always love it because I've been a season ticket holder since 1976. I've put out my money to watch this garbage. I've always said, when I see Daniel Jones stinking it up and sucking it up, yes, he is stealing money from me because I am paying for this. I am paying for this product. I am paying to drive 2.5 hours every other Sunday, or how many Sundays it is, to watch a shitty product on the field, but I still go because of the fact that this team, while they have made their mistakes, while they have made their issues, this is not a 2-win team. This is better than a 2-win team. Is it a 4-win team? Sure, maybe. Is it a 5-win team? You never know. The football bounces a different way. And the people that don't understand the analogy that the football bounces your way because that's why it's shaped that way and can bounce this way and bounce that way, and you never know which way it's going to go, are the people that never played the game. 100%. They're the people these are the people that will never get it. So it's weird that I think the toxicity of a segment of the Giant fan will always be there, no matter what this team does. And that's a shame. That is literally a shame. I think mainly it's going to be on social media. I don't think it's at the stadium as much. There are some segments of the fan that they are, but at the stadium, because you actually drop down your ducats to go watch this shit show. So I think it is a little bit different. But Daniel Jones has been a mistake since 2019, since he was taken 6th overall. I laugh because I always tell the story about Skip Bayless. He was on the radio, and he mentioned that a surprise team is thinking about taking Daniel Jones in the top 10. And then I remember saying to myself, please don't be the Giants. Please don't be the Giants. Please don't be the Giants. And then he goes, we'll tell you who that team was after this commercial break. Yeah, and it turned out to be the Giants. So since that day, I always hearken back also to the preseason game against the Jets where Giant fans booed Eli Manning when he took the field for that first series. And they cheered Daniel Jones like this conquering hero, that he comes out and he's all these wonderful things, and he throws that touchdown in the corner of the end zone against the Jets. And all of a sudden, everything is right in Camelot. Speaking about Eli Manning, I just want to say one thing. The last time we won, Eli Manning made the Hall of Fame list. So we're going to win this weekend because Eli Manning is now on the semifinalist list. So that is the last time we won, because this has always been...
This place is cursed.
This has always been the curse of Eli Manning. This has always been the curse of what we did to Geno Smith. This has always been that. So the Giant curse will be lifted as soon as Eli Manning makes the Hall of Fame. I'm just throwing that out there. But getting back to Daniel Jones, when you went into that 2020 season, you did not have that Eli Manning safety net anymore. He was thrown to the wolves, and he just crumbled. And that's kind of the story of his Giant career outside of a couple games here and there. It's been inconsistency at his position that have hurt the Giants in regards to winning some games. I'm not going to tell you that the Giants have had the most talent over the last couple of years, but they've had talent on this roster. I'm not expected to tell you that the Giants didn't put themselves in these situations by letting go the likes of Julian Love, Evan Ingram, Saquon Barkley, Xavier McKinney. Hell, I mean, you even go back and look at Kevin Zeitler and other people that we let walk because of issues in regards to salary cap. I'm not telling you that, but this team always has some amount of talent. They're not, I don't keep saying this over and over and saying it to the rooftop, they're not a 2-win team. And I've said it before. I hope Tommy DeVito comes in and wins 7 games. I really do. I really do, because it'll show that, you know what, the Giants are a lot better team than some people are getting credit for. And a lot of those people are in their own, and they're in our own fan base. It really is interesting. I thought that, like I said, the pendulum would shift, would go the other way when we release Daniel Jones. It's just some people I think are just damn toxic. And they always tell me I should go root for a different team, but if you hate everything this team does, maybe I'm not the toxic one. And I was talking to James, and I mentioned this at the end of the stream. You know, sometimes you reach a point that your job is done. And sometimes as a warrior, you lay down your sword and you lay down your shield on the battlefield and you walk away because you served your moment in time. And I'm going to have to kind of rethink about what we're doing on this channel, because I think I've served my moment in time in reference to being the person that rallied against Daniel Jones and fought the barbarians at the gate in regards to the Daniel Jones lovers. because of the fact that that's kind of what I think I was here to do. Because it's interesting that we started this channel the Daniel Jones season, his first season. That's when this channel started. And we've kind of pushed through it and we've kind of gone through it. But maybe it's time to put the sword down. Maybe it's time to lay the shield down. Maybe it's time to move on to other endeavors. I mean, I always enjoy doing Giant content, but it's something we got to think about as we're going to go through the rest of the season. I always want to do the Knicks stuff. I have to get off my lawn, the Mad Ramblings of a Gen Xer. I've got some other things. I got some other projects I want to do. But maybe, like I said, maybe the hero needs to take a break. And sometimes, it's not the hero that it's just one of those things. Because, like I said, I see this toxicity. And as a sport fan and as an NFL fan since 76, it's like, why? Why are you going to be so toxic against your own team? I've said it before. I could do a video that was 97% positive and 3%, not negative, but point out things that you shouldn't do. And I'm always told I'm negative. But like I said, you go to certain these certain areas and the bowels of giant fandom. I mean, you just find toxicity. And like I said, I thought it was all Daniel Jones' fault. And I have to apologize for Daniel Jones and tell him it's not. You know what, Daniel, it wasn't all your fault. It's just that's what this segment of this fan base is, and it's kind of sad. Except we did have a lot of fun today on the live stream. Those that got offended on the live stream about what we were doing and what we were saying, it is what it is. We just had a good time because of the fact that we have been locked on to this guy for 6 years, and a good segment of us knew he wasn't the guy, and he was the one that was holding this team back. I mean, especially this year, you rebuilt an offensive line. You cannot blame the offensive line. You go out and get a weapon in Malik Nabers. You cannot blame Malik Nabers. You still have Darius Slayton. You still have Jalen Hyatt. You still have Wan'Dale Robinson. There is talent on this offense. You have Tyrone Tracy running the ball well. There is talent here. But if there's not talent at the QB1 position. And I think we are not the Kansas City Chiefs, but we are not the Carolina Panthers. And it all starts with number 8. And I get in trouble all the time when I say this. I wish Daniel Jones well. I said it with Kadarius Toney. I said it with DeAndre Baker. I've said it with a lot of people. I wish Daniel Jones well. I hope Daniel Jones goes somewhere and has somewhat of a career. Because as a former athlete, I can tell you the worst thing that you can have in your life as a former athlete is regret. The regret of thinking that you could have done more. The regret of thinking that your career could have been different. A lot of times it's that, in my case, a lot of it was regret because of injuries and multitudes of knee surgeries, but it's the regret of not being able to reach what you felt was your full potential as a player. And at this point in time, Daniel Jones was never going to do that in New York. We knew that for years he was never going to do that in New York. I'm not saying he's Ed Whitson and couldn't handle the New York spotlight. I'm just saying sometimes you reach a situation where it's unattainable to find that success. I think Trevor Lawrence is kind of run into that right now in Jacksonville. I do think if you actually take a look at the Trevor Lawrence contract, there is a way if you wanted to try to make a move for him. I think asset-wise, it would be a mistake. But there is a way to, teams could get a player like Trevor Lawrence. But I think he has reached a point in Jacksonville, like Daniel Jones reached a point in New York, where a change of scenery is just needed. A change of sometimes you just need to do something different. Where will the Giants roll from here? That's going to be an interesting question. Will it be Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll at the helm of this? Listen, I can't tell you Joe Schoen has made all the right moves because he hasn't. I can't tell you Brian Daboll has come in here and done what he said he was going to do because he didn't. But you have to look at the fact that does this team have some talent? Yeah, this team does have some talent. There are foundational pieces or potential foundational pieces on this team. And they were brought in by Joe Schoen. Now, the salary cap issue, he still needs to work on the salary cap. I don't know what the fuck Joe Schoen's thinking about when he's running that salary cap. But, Darius Slayton, Jalen Hyatt. I don't know what Jalen Hyatt is because we need to find out. Wanda Robinson to me should be a Darren Sproles. Evan Neal. Greg Van Rotten. He's actually been pretty good. JMS. I would say he is a mid-tier center. Runyon, Ellymore Fudd, all okay players. You have Neighbors, and like I said, you're going to have Tommy DeVito, and you're going to have Tyrone Tracy and Devin Singletary. Not a terrible situation on offense. Defense, you still have Burns, Lawrence, and you still have the likes of Bobby Okereke. You have a young guy in McFadden. You got a young guy in Phillips and Banks and Newman and Pinnock. There is some frontline talent here that you could build around and build a roster around. Is it going to be a playoff team? Like I said before, I don't think we'll make the playoffs at least till 2026, 2027. But there are foundational pieces here. Do you allow Shane the keys to the kingdom to go and draft a quarterback? I'm probably going to say no because his thought process was to sign Daniel Jones and let Saquon Barkley walk. But if they give him and Dable an opportunity for one more season in reference to Mara and Tish, I'm not going to have a problem with it. I'm probably not going to be happy with it, but I'm not going to sit here and wreck the decision for everything that is wrong. Because I don't think that's the way to be a fan. And people will say, well, Tim, your whole channel is negative. No, my whole channel is not negative. My whole channel just points out the obvious and points out facts. And like I'm pointing out a fact now, this is not a 2-8 team. This team has some foundational talent. Are they a quarterback away from making the playoffs? Probably not, but they are a quarterback away from being better than a 2-win team. And for those that are like, well, why do you want to win meaningless games? Because I'm a season ticket holder and I'm a fan. If you want to sit there and tank, then you're not really a fan. Because a fan always wants to win. And that's, like I said, the people that tell me they want to tank are usually people that never played the game. Because you play with a competitive edge. You play with a passion. You play with a willingness because you're putting your body out on the line. And tanking is never an option. I have never really seen an NFL player sit there and go, I'm tanking. Because that's not what you're made for. That's not what you're doing. And when you do something half-assed and you don't go full board as an athlete, that's when you get hurt. Even on bad teams, players want to win. Draft position is for the fans. And they're usually for the fans that are not as intelligent as other fans because the fans understand that you want to win. You want to be part of an organization. You want to show consistency. I've said this before about Dable and Shane. They needed to show me. They didn't need to win. They needed to show me that they were making a progression with the talent and the talent was getting better year to year. And then after 3-4 years, then I said, then I would kind of figure out what they were doing. If they were doing, I would kind of see what the situation is. So I wish Daniel Jones well. I hope he finds his success somewhere. I really do hope he finds his success somewhere else. Because like I said, he doesn't seem like he's a bad guy. I don't know him personally. And I never bashed him as a person. I bashed him as an NFL quarterback because I don't think he is one. But we got to roll with Tommy. We got to rally behind Tommy. And for those that don't want to win and want to tank, stay the fuck home. We don't need you at the stadium. We don't need you as fans. Because you want to know why? This is Tim, this is New York Giants Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to ring that bell. Because that'd be awesome.